What's up lads, Max05 back at it with another video for the first time in a long time, about 3 years now I think since the last made video. It was the last Lions tour. We're nearly on, well, we're a year away from the next Lions tour, so it tells you how long we've been gone. So today lads, I'm going to be talking about the United Rugby Championship and the problems I think poses it in the next few years with club rugby. The inconsistencies with revamping the Pro 14, the Pro 12 and the Magners leaving, going back when the Italian teams came in. A lot of problems that came and arose back then that I think could rear their heads again in the next few years. So I'm going to be talking about how I think it can be fixed and the problems I think the URC will pose in the next couple of years. So lads, stay tuned and hope you enjoy.
The 2024 URC champions are the Glasgow Warriors.
So the first problem that I think could arise in the next few years is competitiveness. If you compare even the Pro 14 to this year, there was a lot of competitiveness when South African teams came in the last couple of years in the URC. You know, a lot more higher standard teams compared to the Cheetahs and the Kings, all due respect. But the problem that kind of happened again was that the competitiveness was lacking. Same problem arose back in the Celtic League, going back to the noughties, and same problem arose when the Italian teams came in. The problem is that it's not necessarily bringing in new teams that fixes the problem. It's the fact that there's no competitiveness for the lower rated teams. We need to go away from trying to satisfy the higher ranked teams, like bringing in the 4 South African franchises to compete with Leinster, Munster and I guess Glasgow now as well. There's a problem with the relegation side of it. You look this year and you see Zebre Parma finished with 1 win and 1 draw in 18 games, and nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to sit pretty for the next year and not face any repercussions. That is not good for sport, and it really shows the maturity of this league compared to the French and the English league. There's a whole structure there at relegation, and it provides competitiveness. We don't have that here. We have the race to the 8. Half of the league goes on to the next stage. There's no competitiveness for that, and that's a big problem I think that will pose in the next few years for the likes of Zebre. And if the Sharks keep going down, although they won the Challenge Cup, if they keep going down, the Dragons and so on, problems with financial side of it will come in, and more, it's unfair to the other teams who are doing well in the Welsh, Scottish and Italian leagues who won't get a chance. Another problem that I have is there's no reward for consistency in the URC. If you look to the French league, for example, the top 2 teams automatically qualify for the semi-final and they host it. The next 4 teams play off in a quarter-final. The winner goes away from home to the semi-finals, the host of the semi-final, the top 2 teams. Similar to the Pro 14, if you remember back in 17-18, 18-19, the winners of each conference would qualify for the quarter-final, or for the semi-final rather, automatically, and they would host it. Second and third in each conference would play off in a quarter-final, and then the winners of that would go ahead away from home and play the conference winner. You're rewarded for consistency, but this time around you're not. All you get is a home quarter-final against 8th place. But as we've seen in this sport, especially when you look at the teams, home advantage doesn't mean much, especially against any team. Like, look at Glasgow. They went away from home and beat Munster. They beat Munster and they beat Bulls. They went to one of the hardest venues and won. They went to Pretoria, one of the hardest altitudes, and won. And absolutely, yes, that is down to Munster and Bulls. But they did the hard work. They've been consistent for the majority of the year, and they got no reward for it. They messed up once, and all that hard work is out the window. And as we've seen with Leinster, especially in the first 2 seasons, we had lodged our place in first place well 3 or 4 rounds before the knockouts. And we already sent younger teams for the majority of the season anyway. But we sent even younger teams for the last few games. We went to South Africa and we sent our B team. Like, I disagree with that. Obviously I understand resting your players, but where's the reward for that? There's no reward for that. It removes the competitiveness, and I just think there needs to be more of a reward for consistency in this league. Another problem that I keep seeing is the constant revamps of the different leagues. You look in the Premiership and you look in the top 14, they're not getting revamped. I have not seen them getting revamped, and there's obviously a reason for that. It's because of the competitiveness, the things I've just previously talked about, relegation, rewarding the top teams, constant competitiveness. I have seen the URC change 3 or 4 times just in the last 5 years alone. If you go way back, it was the Celtic League, then it was the Pro 12, then it was the Pro 14, for a year, it went back to the Pro 12 because the South African teams couldn't play. Then it was the URC. You can count the Rainbow Cup, but that was more of just a trial. So that's 4 times it's changed in its life cycle. Most of those, actually no, all of them, from 2010 onwards. That's not good for a sport. If you have to revamp your league that many times and bring in hand-selected new teams to make your league competitive, you're doing something wrong. So that's a big problem. That's something that I think can easily be fixed. So the system that I'm bringing forward is, of course, we have our standard 16 teams, but I also have 4 new teams I want to bring in. The top 2 Welsh teams in the Welsh Rugby Union League, and the top 12, I think it's the Serie A now, or the Elite Serie in Italy, Padova. And I'd also bring in forward the Cheetahs. Now, they did win the Currie Cup last year, but I probably would bring them back anyway because they were part of the original Pro 14. I'd bring them back to make it a 20-team league. So I would divide it into a Premiership and Championship, similar to the old Meyer 10 Cup style. I'll show what that used to look like. I liked the competitive style of that because, although technically it's one league, there's a competitiveness within the league. In the lower divisions, you have to fight for relegation and for promotion back into the Premier Division. When you're in the Premier Division, obviously you're fighting for the trophy, but you're also fighting for European rugby. Because in my revised European system, not as many European places are going to be given. I'll get into that in another video if you want to stay on track for that. But that is what I would do. You have two 10-style leagues, or 10-team style leagues. The top 6 qualify for the knockouts. 10th place in the Premier Division go down to the Championship. And 10th place in the Championship Division go to a relegation tournament, which I will also get into in a minute. And then the top 3 clubs in the Championship will fight for promotion. So, just to quickly talk about what I mean with rewarding the teams. Here we have Munster and the Bulls, who have topped their league. This is based off, obviously, last season's results. Munster will host semi-final, and they will play the lowest seeded quarter-final winner out of Leinster, Glasgow Stormers, Ulster. And the Bulls will play the highest seeded team, respectively, as well. So, it's at the reward system I was talking about. They play one less game, they host the semi-final, and they will play a lower seeded team consistently, which I think creates a lot more fairness and consistency, and it rewards consistency as well. So you don't just scrape in and get an easy run in after the quarterfinals. If you come top of the pile, you get a less of a game, which is, at that stage of the season is huge for fitness. Then you look at Edinburgh, who get relegated to the Championship. Again, creates competitiveness for the mid-table teams. I hate to put Connacht in the Championship, but they did finish 11th this season. But you see Connacht, who would top their league, they would automatically host the final, and they obviously qualify to play one less game as well. Cardiff and Scarlets would qualify for the preliminary final, and the winner of that will play Connacht. So that's how the normal season would go, as I have a little simulation there. And I have Vale would be sent to the relegation tournament. So this is where the structure comes in. This is what I was talking about with the Premiership and the French League. They all have structures and a relegation and promotion pyramid. So here I have the 2 final seasons. So the URC final season for the Premier Division. Again, the preliminary semi-finals, the quarter-finals, 3rd play 6th, 4th play 5th, as we have there. I just have Leinster and Stormers to win. They will go on to play Bulls, as Leinster are the highest ranked quarter-final team. They will play Bulls, and Stormers, as the lowest ranked quarter-final winner, will play Munster. I just said Munster and Leinster's win because I'm Irish. That is just purely for the simulation. And Leinster would beat Munster in Thomond. And they would win the Championship, and they would win the trophy. And in the Championship division, you have the preliminary final between Cardiff and Scarlets. The winner of that will play Connacht. The winner of that will win the trophy, so they will have something to play for. They have silverware on the line. And to be fair, it's pretty not outrageous to put a trophy on the line for the Championship if the URC is considering the Irish Shield, Scottish Italian Shield, and so on and so forth as an actual trophy. So that does say a lot. And Connacht would not only win the trophy, but they would also get promoted as well, taking Edinburgh's place. Now, this is the thing I want people to pay attention to, is the promotion pyramid. Here is the links between the other 4 pyramids. If you link the URC to the Scottish pyramid, the Welsh pyramid, the Italian pyramid, and the 2 South African leagues, you've now created consistency and fairness. You've now created a gateway for all the clubs to qualify. So here I have Revigo, who just came second in the Italian league, but this is all based off last season's standings. Revigo will go into this tournament alongside the Welsh League winners and the Scottish League winners, alongside Vale, who were relegated from the URC. They will go into a promotion tournament with the Pumas, who again in last season were the next best ranked non-franchise team. And the winner of that round robin tournament will get promoted back to the URC, taking Vale's place. And whatever teams do not get promoted will go back to their respective leagues. So Vale will go back to the Welsh League alongside the Welsh and Scottish winners, alongside Rovigo will go back to the Italian League. And the reason this will work is that now you have got a promotion pyramid. Now you have got structure. You won't need to revamp this pyramid, this league every 10 years. It'll be or even 5 years even. It'll last 20 years. Because now you have a structure. You've now combined the Italian League pyramid, the Welsh League, Scottish League, and South African pyramid. Now everyone has a chance to play. It's not hand-picked teams. It's not based on who the club likes. Now they have a chance to play. And look, some of these teams will get smashed in their first season. But the thing is, the more they play, the more money they get in from broadcasting allows them to grow the game in their country and in their regions. That creates competitiveness, which in turn will improve each individual country from selecting their squads. I think it would be huge for competitiveness, and it makes it fair. It's not a fenced-off league. Now there is fairness and everyone has a chance. Thank you so much for watching, lads. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. If you have any opinions on the leagues in European rugby, please leave your opinion down below in the comments. And lads, I'll see you in the next one.